Here is Bernie Sanders on Chris Wallace. And to a certain extent, I think what we're seeing now is Sanders is starting to try out some themes in certain areas as to what are going to be responses when Donald Trump says, you're a socialist. Crazy Bernie wants to give everything for free. Now, he can't say that, right? He can't really say part of what Sanders' agenda is, because he doesn't want to remind people that Sanders is offering you things that I also offered you, like good things. Right? That's the message that Sanders, good things. Because even when you say, in particularly in a general election, like, wait a second, can he really deliver? People are over, like, I'm sorry. The question of whether we can afford it or we can get it or this and that is going to be trumped always, forgive the pun, by the promise of what you're going to get. Now, I think there's a very good argument that from a negotiating standpoint, you reach for the stars and you hope maybe you get to the stars. But if not, maybe you just get to the planets. Still better than being stuck, maybe 15 feet off the ground. But nevertheless, here is one of the things that I think Sanders is trying out in terms of response to the label, like, you're a socialist.
But here's the question. In a general election where you're going to need the support not just of liberal, progressive, left-wing Democrats, but you're also going to need the support of independents, even conceivably some moderate Republicans, how do you overcome, not the communist label, but the socialist label, which Joe Biden said, not Donald Trump?
Right. That's fair enough, Chris. And I want to make 2 points on that. Number one, in many respects, we are a socialist society today. We have a huge budget, puts money into all areas. Now, Donald Trump, before he was president, as a private business person, he received $800 million in tax breaks and subsidies to build luxury housing in New York. Now, what does that mean when the government gives you $800 million in tax breaks and subsidies? The fossil fuel industry, whose product happens to be destroying our planet right now, receives tens and tens of billions of dollars in tax breaks and subsidies. So does the pharmaceutical industry. The difference between my socialism and Trump's socialism is I believe that government should help working families, not billionaires. So I believe that health care is a human right. I believe we should raise the minimum wage to a living wage of $15 an hour. I believe, in fact, that the rich must start paying their fair share of taxes when you have massive levels of income and wealth inequality.
But Senator, let me ask you about some aspects specific.
It goes on to talk about specifics of the plan. We can go to that.
But that's good. I mean, I think that's basically the structure. That's what he's going to say. Socialism means government doing stuff. Under Trump's vision, the government just pays off private businesses so that they can make profits. Under my version of socialism, actual people are going to get benefit. I mean, and it's very hard to argue with that. You look at just the way that we got out of the housing crisis. Obama had two choices. Now granted, this happened when he was just the president-elect, but don't ask me. Barney Frank said that Paulson, who was the Treasury Secretary at that time, said, we're happy to pay off homeowners directly, and they can give the money to the banks, as opposed to giving money to the banks and hoping that the banks then pass on that relief to homeowners. And Paulson said, I'll sign off on this. Bush will sign off on it, but we need to get Obama to sign off on it because he's the next president. Barney Frank went to Obama and said, here's the deal. And Obama said, there's only one president at a time. Pass. And that may be the excuse he gave, but if you are given the opportunity and you feel strongly about it, that we should give the relief to the homeowners and allow the homeowners to then make the banks whole on their loans, That's what you would say if you're given the opportunity to do that. You wouldn't to defer to some procedural reason why you can't do the relief, that you will go to the default thing that's going to pay the banks and supposedly they're going to provide the relief, that the flow of the money is going to go that way, because it didn't. And it was like, who do we give the option to? The banks to decide to be nice, or the homeowners who are obligated to provide to the banks? And that's the story of our economy. The government picks winners and losers every single day and has since day one of its existence. The question is not whether the government is going to pick winners and losers. The question is who's going to be the winners and who are going to be the losers. That's it. Anybody who tells you anything different is lying to you, because they like who are the winners now. And so they're going to pretend it's not happening. And that seems to be the argument that Bernie is at least trying out right now.